Well, hello again. I know I have not uploaded in a while. School's been a lot, and I've just not had much to talk about, really. But today, I do have something to talk about, and unfortunately, it's not something very good. And it's that Otis, as a brawler, is very, very weak. Like, relatively weak in the current meta. Because he's just been so power crept over all the years that he's been out. It's honestly ridiculous. So, for some background information, I think Otis was added in the summer of 2023, and he's a mythic damage dealer or control. I think he's a controller, but he's kind of a hybrid between the two. So, his normal attack isn't much. He just kind of shoots in like a straight line with like some kind of spread. But where he really shines is in his super, which at the time was unique, where he will mute an enemy brawler for 3 seconds, meaning that they are unable to use their super, hypercharge, or, attack. And that's a very good gimmick and a very unique one at the time. No other brawler could do that other than like stun brawlers who were a completely different category. And Otis was like the brand new thing, and he was his entire like ranking. The reason he's a mythic and the reason why he's so like interesting is because he was the only brawler able to use the muting system. And also, I know what I'm talking about because Otis, I've had I think over a year now. I have him at max level, like all his stuff. He's my second favorite. No, he's probably my favorite brawler, tied with Gray. But even I have to admit, wow, he's fallen off. And it's simply because too much of his kit has been power crept over the years that he's been out. Because Otis is a relatively new brawler. And over 2 years, there's inevitably going to be a lot of brawlers. And inevitably, those brawlers are going to get more complex. And sometimes complex brawlers need to steal, features from other ones. And what do I mean by this? I have 2 examples, Cordelius and Sandy. The 2 brawlers I'm at least aware of that have stolen Otis's prime mechanic. Cordelius with his very broken and frustrating gadget. Like, it's just a gadget. Otis has to do an entire, very long charge super for that, and he just has a gadget. And Sandy has it for a brief second in his hypercharge. And even though that's not much, it's still unnecessary, and they're just giving it out willy-nilly, I guess. And the thing about this is that Otis isn't really special anymore without his, prime mechanic being exclusive to him. It's kind of like with Eve, because Eve was a mythic brawler, because even though her attacks weren't anything special, her ability to walk over water was crazy. Like, she was one of a kind. But now we have 3 other ones, not including RT in his head form, and now she's just kinda irrelevant. Like, she doesn't really matter at all. And the same's kinda happening with Otis. Otis's shots are kinda like a weird combination between, I'd say, probably Colt and, maybe like Daryl, I guess, because like there's a slight spread, there's a little bit of, I don't know, I think it's just probably a mix of like a shotgun brawler. I cut some of the recording because I kept jibber-jabbing trying to find out who he is. He's just kind of a Colt with less shots, I think like as good DPS, and a slight spread to and splash to his attacks. And the thing is that he's just not special anymore because like his normal attack isn't anything special, like I just explained. It's just basically like every other like shoot forward type of brawler. And oh yeah, it's probably Max. I'm looking at the footage right now. There's a Max on screen, and yeah, it's probably like Colt and Max. It's actually just kind of like Max's attack was kind of like that. So the thing is that he's been power crept so hard, and Supercell just kind of neglects him. Like, I'm not the first to tell you that Supercell just kind of neglects some brawlers. Like, infamously Clancy and Griff, who only just got hypercharges and skins, like, years after they've been released. And Like, I don't know. I think Otis, Chuck, Clancy, and Griff are probably the big four of brawlers that Supercell refuses to touch under any reason. And the thing is that even though he hasn't really gotten any nerfs, he hasn't gotten any buffs either. And the thing is, with the meta constantly being filled with these broken brawlers like Kenji and Kaze. Oh my god, Kaze. I don't even want to see what Kaze is going to be like with Otis. She's going to bully him. Oh my god. But the thing is that this isn't even the first time this has happened. We've seen this happen before. Like, for example, Kit just having a gadget that's just Leon Super. Kenji's entire, base kit just being other brawlers. It's like, Supercell, I understand that they're trying to balance the game, but they're balancing the game while also not paying attention to how making these cool new brawlers and keeping all the fan favorites really strong is damaging brawlers like Otis who don't get as much attention. And for example, what do I mean by fan favorites being strong? I'm going to list several examples. Piper still being able to double shot at least 75% of all brawlers and not getting a nerf. I don't think she's gotten a substantial nerf in years, or at least since I've started playing. And Surge, the brawler who does 7,500 damage, who they refuse to nerf, and they just gave an absurd power up, so he instantly gets max form and has basically infinite ammo, because that's balanced. I understand that Supercell wants to balance their game, but they often just kind of forget about some and just keep the fan favorites strong because they're fan favorites. And if anyone saw that Spike and Crow were bad in the meta, they'd throw a riot. And the thing is, I keep saying the thing is, I feel like Otis would benefit so much from just every other brawler who's just neglected, a rework. And I'm going to list some of my ideas. First of all, the rework everyone's been asking for, the rework that's very obvious for Otis. Make his ink refill star power part of his base kit. For anyone who doesn't know, it gives him more projectiles, and it's 25% of his DPS in a star power. Basically meaning you can't ever use the other star power, because otherwise his DPS will be so low that you might as well be playing a pillow. And the thing, I'm gonna say it again. I wanted to record this over the part where I basically talk about how sometimes I have a speech impediment and how I improv my videos. And I wanted to say that I forgot to add this. Otis is very inconsistent. He'll be good one game and then horrible the next. He's just not very good all around, and I feel like he definitely should be. Other rework idea, because I came back with my actual thought process. His little, shots leave, ink splatters on the ground that work kind of like Barley's attacks. That would make him so much better, to be honest. It would actually make him a controller other than his mildly controlling super. And overall, give him a reload buff, please. His damage is so bad. Once you've used all your ammo, you just have to sit there like a duck, hoping that some kind of brawler just doesn't come running face first at you, because you can't do anything. His reload, I don't even think Meeple's comparable. Meeple's, was so bad because his reload speed was so horrible that he was unplayable. And Otis's reload speed is still really bad. At least give him, the gear that lets him reload. And it's just, rework his actual super and hypercharge, because now they're not special anymore. I think you can keep your super with minimal changes, maybe a little bit. I don't think they really need to change the super, but the hypercharge just stuns them. It just stuns them for an extra 1.5 seconds. And well, yes, that can be very crucial in some situations. It's just not that great. Especially since the hypercharge takes so long to charge, compared to others. And I think, a good idea would be maybe after they're done stunning, their controls will be warped. Or maybe you can take Ollie's thing, because now we're just taking Brawler's mechanics, and you can have them hypnotized towards him. Or maybe you can do an opposite thing where they repulse away from him. And I think that would make Otis so much better because he's one of the... Oh, and his gadget. His ink... I think that most people think that the ink splatter gadget is better, but me personally, I think the sleeping star is better. But either way, you can only choose like one or the other because depending on your mode, one's just going to be useless. One's just going to be like super crucial. Otis is like one of those brawlers like Sam who only has like one acceptable loadout. That's really good. And that's an issue because you want to have both of their, like both star powers, both gadgets be good. Like that's the entire point of them, that you have to choose to make your own kind of brawler loadout. And I think that just implementing a second one into his, like his first one into his base kit, like they did for Chester, if they can do it for Chester, they can do it for Otis. And that would make it so much better because then his other star power, which is a good star power by the way, it's just that, again, not playing the first one turns him into a pillow. If you just implemented that star power into his base kit, he'd be so much better and it would free up so much more opportunity for gameplay. But anyway, that's all I really have to say. I feel like I've been dragging this on harder than the Low Taper Fade name. And I will see you guys later again, hopefully. See ya.